Hey guys, welcome back. This is Nick's Collectables. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ask you that if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. While you're there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell. That way you don't miss any future content. That out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Today, we have Scarlett from the G.I. Joe Classified line. I've got to tell you, I've been really looking forward to this line. I was a big fan of G.I. Joe back in the day. It was second only to Transformers for me, but I tapered off collecting these kind of later in life. And it seemed like, for the most part, other than a few minor resurgences with the Renegade line and the movie series, the IP mostly lay dormant for a really long time. It's like Hasbro didn't know what to do with it. Well, no longer. Now we have the G.I. Joe Classified line. There really isn't too much to the box on these other than what you see here. It's a nice, simple box that allows you to see the character cleanly and has some nice artwork on the back. Other than that, it's a box. But let's go ahead and ditch the box and get it open and take a look, shall we? Now that we have her out of the box, let's slide her forward and have a look, shall we? You can see just at a glance the head sculpt is pretty nice. It's far nicer than I gave it credit for in the box, if I'm honest. I had no idea until I was looking at her more closely that she had freckles. They're so subtle that at a distance you don't notice them, but up close they pop, adding a lot more detail to her face. Her eyes are nicely colored and realistic looking. Even the contours of her face make a good impression, giving her facial expression more depth and a longer lasting appeal. Her hair has this nice bright orange color, which is kind of nice change because most natural redheads don't have a vibrant dark red. It's more of a subtle shade. And more blonde highlights accent the colorization nicely too. As you look her over, you can actually see she has good detailing all along the hair and on her ears. They even put little bits of paint to show off earrings. There's even more detailing on the braid along with another highlight. I really like this head sculpt, guys. It's a really nice modern take on Scarlett so far. As we look further down, you can see all this great detailing they've done. The red on the neckline and the nice buckle that keeps her chest plate attached to her shoulder guard, which in and of itself has nice detailing. The chest plate itself even has some nice contours and detailing with gold mixing with the yellow in just the right amounts, in my opinion at least. The bodysuit under it is really nice with some detailing on the dark blue to make it a bit more interesting than just a flat paint job that they could have done. They even took the time to do some extra color on the strap holding her quiver, which has its own sheath for one of her daggers. The other two, oddly enough, fit in her quiver. No idea why. Rotating her around, you can see the star in her arm plate along with the throwing stars in her arm guard. I'm really glad they kept this. It's a cool homage to the figure's original design, and it's nice to see that they kept it with this one. This is where we come to one of my first critiques. I wish the arm plate on the hinge could move. It looks nice, but it's out of place with her arm down. It would be nice if it tilted just a bit. I just think it would make her lines look a little cleaner. Moving to her back, you can see she's got some similar coloring and a peg on her back. I'll admit, I'm not sure what this is for. None of her weapons look like they attach to it, and her quiver is laying over it and won't plug into it. I can only assume it's meant for you to be able to display her in some sort of dynamic air poses, but even for that, it's just awkward. Her quiver is in the way any direction you move it. It's not removable, or if it is, it's more risk than I'm willing to take with my copy of the figure to get it off of her. Speaking of her quiver, you may have noticed the top of it. Yeah, that's her daggers again. I have no idea why, but that's where they want a lot of her daggers stored. You can even see the pockets and the belt and all that stuff on the pants and all that on the back, which have really nice detailing. The paints, what almost looks like scale mail detailing the armor or some type of it, so it's so lightly done it's kind of hard to tell, but it's kind of a nice feature and adds some more depth to the figure. Now that we're a little bit closer, you can actually see her belt and her legs. The belt's pretty nice. It moves freely, allowing her a bit more mobility than if it had just been molded. The legs had this really cool red stripe down them, ending in her knee-thigh armored boots. I think these look pretty good in all honesty, but I think this is where she gets the most critiques for looking like a Fortnite character. The styling, while it fits the character, is a bit more over the top and less subtle than the rest. I don't particularly mind it, but I could see why others would be turned off. The blue metal with the rivets along it with whatever this vent looking thing is on the back is a bit odd, but it's fun regardless. Now that we've gone over the details, let's take a look at how posable the figure is. The head is on a ball joint, giving a good left to right and up and down movement. She also has good movement at the chest, giving her a bit of side-to-side movement and a bit of an ad crouch. She can also turn at the waist. It's not a lot, but she can. Her arms move in a full 360, and her elbow will move up and down, and left and in and out. Her wrists will turn as well. Her legs don't quite go out to 90 degrees, but have good range. And before you ask, yes, she can hold her weight while she does a side kick. It's not the highest one I've seen figures do, but it works. Her legs will twist just above the thigh, and she has good range of motion at the knee, a little bit more than 90 degrees. She also has some ankle tilt side to side and up and down, but no toe articulation to speak of. Overall, I'd have to say this is a big win for Hasbro. Yeah, there's a few errors here and there. There's paint application errors on like the feet and on the chest plate of mine. There's a good number of accessories though, and the figure has really good posability. She also feels pretty heavy for her size, and she looks great. At least I think so. The only other oddity that I noticed out of this figure that you might watch out for before I let you guys go is the crossbow. Half of it popped off while I was shooting. Now, it snapped right back on, but I have like no idea why this came off in the first place. Other than that, the figure is more than solid. The aesthetic is nice. It pays homage not only to the original figure, but to the comics as well. In fact, I found a comic cover while I was looking this figure up that's clearly what inspired the new design. My recommendation is to go ahead and pick up this figure. It's posable, nicely molded, and detailed. It balances on its weight very well, and it supports an IP that I feel has deserved a resurgence far earlier than it's gotten one. If you don't like it because it doesn't have vehicles, well, that's already kind of being solved. The Baroness has just been announced as a Target exclusive, and she comes complete with a bike. So I suspect you're going to see more vehicles and more things like this in the future, and if nothing else, it's going to make a great companion line to the toys that we all grew up loving, particularly with the retro line just around the corner. So go ahead and pick some of these up and show G.I. Joe some love and let Hasbro know that this is something that we want. This is something we want done well, and we're willing to pay them money for it. But until next time, guys, I'm out.